Welcome back to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries. Tonight's story is not about monsters in the dark or gods hurling thunderbolts, but about something far more unsettling: the terror of telling the truth and being ignored. This is the story of Cassandra, a woman who saw everything coming and could stop nothing. Cassandra was born a princess of Troy, daughter of King Priam and Queen Hecuba, in a city that believed itself protected by fate, walls, and the favor of the gods. From birth, she belonged to power and privilege, but her life would become a warning instead of a triumph. In the ancient world, prophecy was not unusual. Seers and oracles were respected, feared, and consulted. What made Cassandra different was not that she could see the future, but that no one would ever believe her. The god Apollo, patron of prophecy, music, and light, desired Cassandra. Some versions of the myth say he loved her. Others say he merely wanted to possess her. In exchange for her affection, he granted her the gift of prophecy. Cassandra accepted the power, but refused the god. And gods, when rejected, rarely forgive. Apollo could not take back what he had given, so he twisted it. He cursed her so that her prophecies would always be true and always disbelieved. From that moment on, Cassandra lived in a kind of waking nightmare. She saw the future with perfect clarity. Blood on stone, smoke in the streets, ships on the horizon. She screamed warnings, begged for caution, named the doom before it arrived. And every time, she was dismissed as hysterical, mad, or attention-seeking. In a world that already distrusted women's voices, Cassandra became the ultimate inconvenience. Someone who told people what they did not want to hear. As Troy prospered, Cassandra foresaw its destruction. She warned that Paris's journey to Sparta would bring catastrophe. She foresaw the abduction of Helen and the terrible war that would follow. When the Greek ships gathered and the Trojan War began, Cassandra cried out that Troy could not win. Her family ignored her. After all, Troy had walls blessed by the gods, heroes like Hector, and allies across the Aegean. Optimism is always louder than prophecy. One of the most chilling moments of Cassandra's story comes near the war's end, when the Greeks appear to abandon the battlefield, leaving behind the great wooden horse. Cassandra recognized it immediately for what it was: a trap. She begged the Trojans to burn it, destroy it, push it into the sea. Some versions say she struck it with an axe or a spear, and the hollow sound echoed ominously. Others say she heard the muffled breathing of soldiers inside. None of it mattered. The Trojans wanted the war to be over. They wanted to believe the enemy had gone. That night, Troy fell. Cassandra's curse did not spare her from witnessing the horror she had predicted. She saw her city burning, her family slaughtered, her people enslaved. She fled to the temple of Athena, clinging to the statue of the goddess for sanctuary, a sacred act that should have protected her. Instead, she was dragged away by Ajax the Lesser, an act so sacrilegious that even the gods were enraged. Cassandra survived, but survival in myth is often a punishment, not a reward. She was taken as a spoil of war by Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, who brought her back to Greece. Even there, Cassandra's curse followed her. She foresaw her own death, warning Agamemnon that his wife Clytemnestra planned to murder them both. Once again, no one listened. Cassandra walked into the palace, knowing she would not walk out. According to later tragedians like Aeschylus, she accepted her fate with a terrible clarity, understanding that the truth would only be recognized once it was too late. Cassandra was killed alongside Agamemnon, her prophecies fulfilled to the end. She died as she lived, correct, ignored, and powerless to change the outcome she had named. What makes Cassandra endure is not just her suffering, but what she represents. The ancient Greeks used her story to explore the limits of knowledge and the cruelty of the gods, but later generations saw something more modern in her fate. Cassandra is the voice that challenges comfort. She is the warning about climate, war, injustice, collapse, spoken too early, too bluntly, or by the wrong person. She is the expert dismissed, the whistleblower mocked, the truth-teller branded as unhinged. There is also something deeply psychological about Cassandra's curse. To know the future and not be believed is a kind of isolation worse than ignorance. Cassandra was never wrong, yet she was treated as if she always was. Over time, prophecy became indistinguishable from madness in the eyes of those around her. The curse did not silence her, it discredited her, and that distinction matters. Cassandra's story also exposes the danger of selective belief. The Trojans believed in omens when they were comforting and ignored them when they were inconvenient. They trusted prophecy when it promised victory and dismissed it when it demanded sacrifice. Cassandra's truth required change, restraint, humility, and those are the hardest things for any society to accept. In art and literature, Cassandra is often shown screaming into the wind, eyes wide with terror, hands raised in warning. But there is another, quieter version of her that may be even more unsettling. Cassandra calm, resigned, already knowing she will be ignored. Not frantic, not hysterical, just painfully aware that the truth alone is never enough. Her myth has survived for thousands of years because it keeps repeating itself. Every era produces its Cassandras, people who see patterns others refuse to acknowledge. The tragedy is not that Cassandra could see the future. The tragedy is that no one wanted to. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, remember Cassandra. Remember that truth does not always arrive loudly, and wisdom does not always come wrapped in reassurance. Sometimes it comes as a warning we'd rather dismiss. And sometimes the real curse is not knowing too little, but refusing to listen. If you enjoyed this story and want more myths, legends, and forgotten warnings whispered from the past, subscribe to Bedtime Myths and Mysteries. And if there's a myth, mystery, or legend you'd like to hear next, leave it in the comments. Just don't ignore the warning.